Why small monthly payments quietly control your finances. At first glance, a small monthly payment rarely feels dangerous. It appears manageable, contained, almost invisible inside the rhythm of a normal budget. $20 here, $40 there, a subscription, a financing plan, a device upgrade, a streaming service, a piece of furniture paid over time. Each decision is framed as something comfortably within reach, something that fits neatly into the present moment without requiring a large sacrifice. The psychological comfort comes from the framing itself, because the brain tends to evaluate affordability through the lens of monthly impact rather than total cost. This framing effect is one of the most powerful mechanisms in consumer finance. When a price is converted into a monthly amount, the number shrinks, and with it, the perceived weight of the decision. A purchase that costs $1,000 suddenly becomes $42 per month over 2 years, and the mind rarely performs the reverse calculation to reconstruct the full cost. Instead, the brain compares the monthly figure to other monthly figures, rent, utilities, groceries, and asks a simpler question. Does this fit inside the current flow of money? Because of this mental shortcut, monthly payments accumulate quietly. One payment on its own seems harmless, but the system does not present them individually. It stacks them. A phone plan, a car payment, a software subscription, a financed appliance, an installment purchase, a membership fee. Each one was once evaluated as a small and reasonable decision, but together they form a structure that begins to shape how much freedom the budget actually has. From a mathematical perspective, the shift happens when fixed obligations consume a growing percentage of monthly income. Suppose someone earns $3,000 per month after taxes. If small payments gradually total $600, that represents 20% of available income committed before food, transportation, or saving are even considered. The individual payments may feel small, but the combined system begins to behave like a set of rails guiding how money must move every month. Behavioral economists often describe this as commitment layering. Each new payment reduces flexibility slightly, and flexibility is the hidden variable that determines whether financial stress appears during unexpected moments. When income fluctuates, when an emergency occurs, or when opportunities appear, the difference between a flexible budget and a rigid one becomes immediately visible. What makes monthly payments particularly influential is that they convert optional spending into fixed obligations. Buying something outright is a one-time decision that eventually disappears from the financial landscape. But installment payments extend the decision into the future, sometimes for years. The original purchase may have taken only a few minutes to approve, yet the obligation continues to occupy space in every future budget. Historically, this structure became widespread as financing systems expanded during the 20th century. Consumer credit made many goods more accessible, which allowed households to smooth large purchases over time, but it also reshaped how prices were presented. Retailers increasingly emphasized the monthly figure rather than the full price, because the monthly number aligns with how most people experience income. Paychecks arrive periodically, so purchases framed the same way feel naturally synchronized with that rhythm. Over time, the financial system adapted around this behavior. Entire industries built pricing models that rely on recurring payments rather than one-time transactions. Software, entertainment, vehicles, electronics, even household goods can now be acquired through streams of small obligations. None of these systems are inherently harmful, but together they create an environment where financial control often shifts subtly away from the individual decision-maker. The deeper psychological shift happens when the budget becomes a list of payments rather than a plan for money. When income arrives, it immediately flows outward to meet commitments made in the past. The person managing the budget may feel as if money disappears quickly, even though each individual payment once seemed reasonable when evaluated on its own. Understanding this mechanism does not require rejecting every monthly payment. Many of them serve practical purposes and can make large purchases manageable. The important insight is simply recognizing that the size of a payment is only one dimension of the decision. Duration, total cost, and cumulative commitments all shape the structure of a financial life in ways that are not immediately visible at the moment of purchase. When people step back and view monthly payments as a system rather than isolated decisions, something subtle changes in perception. Instead of asking whether a payment fits inside the current month, the question becomes, how many future months are already spoken for? That shift in perspective often reveals that financial freedom is not determined only by income, but also by how much of the future has already been promised away through small numbers that once looked harmless.